I was a very quiet, studious, and conservative girl when I was growing up. My parents were extremely strict, especially since I am female. I never felt like I fit in with anyone until about 5th grade, when I started to make closer friends and became head of the school's safety patrol. I became a respected student, and others realized how hard I worked for good grades and a good reputation. So my classmates respected me and listened to me when I spoke. Eventually, I was regarded as a leader. All of this background was to show that I didn't date until after college, and then not much. I was too shy. There I was in the middle of the SF Bay Area during the hippie revolution, and I was shy and reserved. In order to meet more people, I joined a bowling league and met the man I would marry. What a mistake that was. I was naive, saw someone who made friends easily and made me feel special. So we married after only knowing each other for 5 months. There was immediate tension because of our varied backgrounds. He was a smart ass who had to be the center of attention, and I was shy and proper since I was brought up back east in New Jersey. The social change was overwhelming, but I could handle it because my new husband kept me busy with his produce business. I stayed with this idiot, there are better words, but I will be respectful here, for over 45 years. I ran his home, raised his sons, and ran his businesses. As a bookkeeper, he had me working in his family's produce business before we were even married. Had to do monthly statements before we could go to Reno to get married. Should have recognized his priorities right then. But I was a good wife and did what he needed done for decades. I raised 2 sons mostly alone as he was always away at work. I did bookkeeping at night while my husband slept so he could take the reports etc. back to work when he left each morning. I worked my butt off for that man in 4 different businesses plus Amway. I was the workaholic, and he was the coach potato. I just did what I thought a good wife would do day in and day out. I had some friends but didn't usually have much time to socialize because of all of the work I had to do. I had to have dinner on the table at 5 p.m. each night, or husband would have a temper tantrum. He couldn't eat late because he went to bed at 7 p.m. in order to get up in the morning at 3 a.m. in the produce business. I felt bad for him since it appeared that he was working so hard and so much. What a chump I was believing that. Oh, he worked hard, but not really on purpose. He shortcut through most parts of his job and made people feel so bad for him. Eventually, we raised our boys. They went off to University of Arizona, and we decided to move north to Oregon, where life was slower paced and husband could fish whenever he wanted. 1995 saw us sell our house in a month, had graduation parties for both sons, one from college and one from high school, and packed up 17 years of possessions in 3 weeks. It was hard work, but I always thought it would be worth it, and it was. Luckily, our sons were away at college then, cause if they had been around, we would probably have divorced then. I had to get rid of 1/2 of my books per husband, 1/2 of my china and special things that I used for dinner parties, etc., 1/2 of my Christmas decorations, and much, much more. He, on the other hand, put all of his hardware and garage things in a huge box and moved the huge box to Oregon. I never did get to the bottom of that darn box before I gave it away later. That was a good accomplishment right there. After 20 years in Grants Pass, Oregon, one day my husband came home from his real estate office and said, "We have to talk." I knew from prior experience that I should have run like mad any place away from that house and that man. Unfortunately, I was still recovering from 6 months of pneumonia and couldn't even get up from a chair by myself. So I sat and glared. He began by telling me that he had decided to bring someone in to help with the cleaning and cooking. The long pause after then showed me to hold on for dear life for what was coming next. He continued with, "At night she will sleep in my bed with me." I am sure that I turned all colors of blue and purple because I was seeing huge red stars in front of me. That's how angry I was and disbelieving, but knowing that he meant what he said. What a jerk, still not strong enough for the situation. At first I screamed at him and said a few choice words. Then I cried. Then I sat there and told that SB to get the hell out of my house. He just sat there with the dumbest smirk on that stupid face that you could ever imagine. Which made me madder. So I started to try to get up, and then he moved away to hide in his bedroom while I simmered and cussed, and finally got up to go kick his door in, then I went on like nothing had happened, but everyone knew what happened, even my cats. And husband wanted dinner, to which I replied, "Fix your own." I was not his slave any longer. I was going to be free for the first time in my life. First it was a very strict father, and then an hole of a husband. Now I would enjoy my dream house and not have to be on call 24 hours of the day. Amazing to think about. Anyway, I studied divorce online, found a reputable company, and gathered all of my questions together to spend an hour with a divorce lawyer so she could answer all of my questions. Then I went home and wrote out the paperwork. Luckily for him that he agreed about how we would divide our wonderful assets. I prepared the paperwork, had him sign, and went to the courthouse and filed for divorce. Little did I know that the divorce was final within an hour of my filing, since we agreed on everything. I thought we had to wait the usual 6 weeks. What a relief, but I was a failure in my own mind. I didn't believe in divorce until that man came home with his surprise bomb. Well, it ended up that he had been sending money from our joint checking account to Africa, Nigeria, in order to bring 2 women, one white and one black, to the US to live with us in my home. Over my dead body. I know that I am windy when I write, but this was not just a divorce, but the worst betrayal of all. This creature throws me away like so much rotten garbage and sits and smirks like a jackass. He answered a few of my questions, but very few, and then I just wanted him gone, out of my house forever, never to return. Finally, I was free like the slaves during Lincoln's time in office as president. I realized what I had done for that idiot husband for 4.5 decades, and all I got was my house and my old car. We split the bills and split the little that was left in our checking account. I also got what was left in the house, as all he wanted was his bedroom oak furniture, his new TV that I bought him for Christmas, his computer and desk, and he left me with a year's worth of filing that he had never done and a huge mess in my garage. He didn't even take a hammer. I figured I would have a sale and make some much-needed money. My sale later got me a total of $6.25 on the first day, and I decided it wasn't worth it. I will stop here except to say that all happened 3 years ago. I sold my house in one day with an attic full of bats, which I had to pay to get rid of, $4,000. It has been the worst 3 years of my life getting my self-respect back, realizing that I am of value in this world. After all, I do love being free. But I would dearly love it if this jerk would follow through and pay the alimony our divorce decree stated was required each month on time. First, it is never on time, and it has been 4 months since I have received a penny from that jerk. I should have known. He doesn't remember how to sell houses because I did all of the work and now I was gone. He now lives with another Nancy in her mother's house. She is Nancy Jane and I am Nancy Jean. How's that for being sure he won't call her my name by mistake in the night, etc.? He sold her a house 3 years prior and had a crush on her back then. Enough. You get the drift. It took a lot of work to get myself to one. Stop crying, not for losing him, but because I had given him the ability to change my life in a matter of seconds. No one deserves that power, and no one will ever have that power over me again. 2. Lift my head up and know that I didn't do anything wrong. It was his stupidity that caused the divorce, and it was indeed a blessing for this old woman. 3. Try to get my life back after such a rude interruption, and that hasn't been accomplished fully yet. 4. Get my elder son to stop calling me a prostitute because I was beginning to date online even though he found his wife that way 10 years ago. What's the difference? It's not right for an elderly woman to sow such things and be scammed, etc. I was worth so much more. So he felt sorry for himself, not for me. He lost his dignified mother figure. What a shame. I could go on forever because my story isn't finished yet, but it will be soon and I will live happily ever after.